What's going on, guys? It's your boy Turtle the Ascended, back at you another video. This time we're on Tekken, and today I'm going to give you 5 characters to not only help you as a beginner player, to help you effectively learn the game as a whole, but also 5 characters that you should maybe look at picking up or trying to play if you're starting to feel plateaued in the game. Each of these 5 characters that I have in this list, I think have a very specific purpose or a very specific way to help you progress, sometimes in tandem. And the good thing about these characters is if you progress with these characters, you will find yourself naturally improving overall in Tekken in general. But before all that, what I need you to do is like, comment, subscribe, turn the post notifications on, and let's get into this video. Alright, so we're going to start with obviously the most controversial character that's going to be on this 5 character list, which is that boy Kazuya Mishima, the known main character, so to speak, of Tekken in general. A lot of people I know for sure would not agree with me picking him in this top 5, or not top 5, but these 5 characters. But I have a few reasons why I think this character is a very good starting point. Number 1, in order to be good with Kazuya, you have to be able to play Tekken, quite frankly, right? Like, this character is a very minimalist character. There's not a whole lot that Kazuya can do as a character without being able to use his good stuff, right? Obviously, you have the electric, which is his best tool that I can't throw, apparently. There we go. So he has the electric, obviously, which is something he specifically, as opposed to the other 3 Mishimas, pretty much rely on, right? Like, this is the character that makes the electric such an annoying move, because he can do so much with it. But not only that, he's a very minimalist character, right? Like, he gets an opening and then he's in your face trying to mix you, doing stuff like wave dashes and things like that. So the things that I want to iterate that you will learn from playing Kazuya, not only just as a newbie, but as a seasoned Tekken player, is number 1, he's going to teach you how to play around your good moves, right? So a character like Kazuya, he's going to teach you how to play around this move. This is the scariest move in Kazuya's arsenal, and there are things that most people already know Kazuyas are going to do, right? When they get in close, they know they want to hit this move, they know they want to hit the hell sweep, they know they want to hit some lows in there most of the time, some down forward 2s maybe they'll use the new move while standing 1+2. Right, there's stuff that this character does that we all know he's going to do, but what makes this character possible to be successful is being able to use those good moves in a way to keep your opponent guessing, right? This character rewards defense, spacing, and just good old-fashioned movement, because when you step in the right frame of mind, then you can open up opportunities to throw electric as a whiff punish, mixing up your moves with something as technical as a wave dash, which eliminates you having to learn it later on for a more difficult character if you want to play Kazuya as a main, or if you want to switch to any of the other Mishimas. You already have this knowledge, of course, as well as being able to cancel things, to not get moves like that and get wave dash cancels into crouch cancel moves, like so, and being able to mix people with going into forward moves. There's a lot of tech that you probably wouldn't have to learn with a lot of other characters. Well, not a lot of other characters, with a few other characters, but if you go ahead and learn them through Kazuya, who teaches you to rely on more of the technical aspect of Tekken, then it can train you to do things and use your moves in ways that you have never thought about using them before, right? And it's going to reinforce the ability for you to play around those big moves. And even though he's a very technical character, he's also a very rewarding character, right? So even if you're just starting out, you'll still get some value off of doing just hell sweeps, and even just doing God Fists in general, right? The God Fist is also a very potent move because you can still do most of Kazuya's combos without electrics anyway. For example, if I can... Well, I'm getting electrics now. Right? Even with mess ups, you can still put together combos like that. Right? And the important thing here is that you don't necessarily need to be using the electric. You don't have to, but getting the execution portion down is going to help you in general. It's gonna make you want to play better because you realize that that electric means a lot as opposed to the normal God Fist. So that's my opinion on Kazuya. I think he's a great character, not only for people to start Tekken with, because again, he teaches you pretty much every single technical aspect, and you will see the improvement as you level up. I think he's easily the most visible character to see improvement on. Also, in the same family bracket, we have his mom, Kazumi Mishima. Right? Now, one thing I didn't mention with Kazuya that Kazumi also does at the same time is you have access to a move called Flash Punch Combo. Right? That's 1-1-2. This move is really, really good. It's a solid basic punish, but the reason I want to mention it with Kazumi is because it's a lot more important with her, right? Because being able to hit confirm this move on a character like this is pretty important. This character is probably the absolute best character to start Tekken with because she has little to no difficulty at all whatsoever. There is actually nothing technical about playing this character at all, besides doing certain versions of combos like that. That's a little bit daunting for those that can't really control their movement, but ultimately this character can do pretty much anything she wants. She's really good at just playing Tekken as a whole. Right, this character is going to teach you how to use your generics, right? The stuff that people tell you about that usually the stuff that people say makes a good like overall Tekken character, right? Because she doesn't really have any dirt, there's nothing really cheap about her, so to speak. You have to be really, really solid with your fundamentals, right? Using stuff like down 4-1, hers being really good, being able to utilize it even when it's +3 or -3 on block. It teaches you the real meaning of plus frames, right? If I'm -3 in this situation, are you really plus or do you just think you are, right? The numbers say you plus, but after doing something like this, I could just step and punish you with a flash punch combo for trying to swing at me. I could crush you with a down 4, which is also a really good move to equalize a lot of nonsense against some of the characters that love to stay on the ground or have extraneous crush properties themselves. This move can be very powerful. She has a stature smash, which is really good at checking her weak side. She has good tracking moves in general, so quick tracking moves that are safe and effective against multiple opponents, pretty much anyone. She has great situational combos that you can use. If you catch the awareness, you can get combos like that. She has a good crushing move to get a combo. She has great, just in general, 2-hit strings to make you pay for a lot of things that prevent opponents from really doing a whole lot if you use the right generic tools, right? She even has a Magic 4 to discourage people from coming in against her. She has great range tools also. When running 2 and running 1, both you can utilize to threaten and invade people's space. She can lock people down by using stuff like forward, forward, forward. She has a decent backswing blow that can be hit confirmed on counter hit. Oh, never mind, I lied. I lied. She also has another backswing blow that knocks down on counter hit, I believe, and she can get follow up on Tiger. She does have the Tiger. Tiger can be used as a pseudo fireball to surprise people. If you're a certain distance away, you can kind of throw it out there. So this character just has a lot of good generic moves. It's going to teach you how to make the most of just playing compact with down forward 1s, trying to strike magic 4s, hit people for trying to come in at you or trying to disrespect your own plus frames, right? Again, checking the nonsense. Again, decent crush moves to use against other opponents. So as easy as this character is, this character can actually be a very strong secondary for a lot of people as well, because she's so easy and she's just going to help your gameplay overall. There's no negatives to picking up Kazumi at any given time. One other thing I'll add is that this is a character that, since she doesn't have any dirt, like I mentioned before, this character is going to force you to stop cheesing people out, or stop trying to cheese people out, because she doesn't have any cheese to use, so to speak, right? I mean, some stuff looks cheesy, but ultimately this character doesn't really have any cheese to use, so you have to play fundamental, right? You're not going to get away with doing some Eddie mix nonsense. No, you gotta play everybody straight up while they do their nonsense. So next we have the American hero, that boy Paul Phoenix. All right, so some people probably don't think this character should be on the list either, but there's a reason, right? At first glance, if you've played Paul or seen Paul, you've seen him be massively aggressive, hit up with big damage, do some crazy stuff. Demo man, walk in, mix people, right? Maybe smack people with a death fist. But that's not really how you play Paul, right? Yes, he has those qualities, but it's not very effective when you take a step back and actually look at the character. If you take a minute and look, this character's range is not great, right? He has a lot of advancing moves, but these moves are generally not the best to use, right? In just a random neutral scenario, right? But they're great for whiff punish, right? Which means they're great for whiff punish because they're short range, but he has a bit of advancement with them, right? You can tell if you look at most of these tools on block, these aren't very advantageous overall. Being high means it can be ducked. This being high means it can be ducked. So it's really meant to make your opponent swing in questionable scenarios, right? He's actually a defensive character, and he's a very rewarding defensive character, right? Obviously, if you've looked at any real vids of a real good Paul player using Paul, you'll notice that most of the time he lands it's because he stepped the opponent or the opponent whiffed, right? They get in front of his face, they whiff, he swings for the fences on you, right? Or he sidestep to your weak side, hits you, swings for the fences, right? And then he has a really good rage drive and a rage art a rage art cancel. I believe he's the only one with a rage art cancel. So he has access to big damage that not a lot of other characters can do at a moment's notice. He has a great throw game, so it'll teach you a little bit about mixing up your throws so that you can try to catch your opponent off guard. He has lots of options that can keep your opponent out, like I said before, right? Down one is really good to shut down an opponent. Back one is really good to catch an opponent trying to step. Back sway 4, back sway 1, back sway 3. His back sway, just in general, is a great tool that, if you used properly, you can actually slip punches, slip jabs, and strike for it, right? And what's something that's not talked about a lot is he has a safe death fist and quarter circle back 2, right? So this fist is actually -9. There we go. It's actually -8. I lied. So it's actually very safe, and it hits mid, and it gives a bit of a pushback to condition your opponent. So learning how to utilize his sways is going to be very important, right? Being compact is going to be very important because you can see what your opponent is doing and let your opponent open themselves up for you for big damage, right? For that hop kick combo, right? For the throw because they're afraid of getting hit. Maybe they get tackled and hit with some kind of nonsense, you know. You can do a lot with this character, but it all depends on being able to keep them out first or make them play neutral, right? Keeping them at about a good range 2 is probably the most effective, right? So that you can disrespect anything they want to do, right? Or even 2.5, but 2 is usually the optimal, and you get good enough space to do things without having to try to force mixes. Now, can you play aggressive with this character? Absolutely. Do you really want to play aggressive with this character? Not really. The character is not that safe unless you play him in a safe way, right? You take your time, take your reads, right? And then over time, if your defense is solid, your reads get rewarded, right? Having something like this down forward 2, which is safe on block and launches, right? -8. get free damage, pretty much. On top of this, this character is gonna make you get better at your movement. One thing that a lot of people, including myself, do when they backdash cancel is we do reverse wave dash, which is back, a quarter circle back, right? So if you're doing this, you're going to constantly sway and mess up your movement. And if you're trying to move back and you sway, you will get smacked for it, right? Which means you're going to have to get better and cleaner at your movement without having to get that back sway. And it's something that I'm working on also, and it's actually been helping my movement quite a bit. Sometimes I get it clean, sometimes I don't, but overall this character is a great character to teach you how to play more patiently, to actually hit your opponent's weaknesses hard, right? Because when you see the opening, you can hit them with something really, really hard, right? Teaching you how to see those holes and how to keep your opponent at bay and stop yourself from getting rushed down, to keep yourself calm in situations because you already know your damage is probably better than your opponent. So you get one good hit, you've just evened up the round. So Paul, ladies and gentlemen, is another one of those characters I think will be a very great addition to your roster in order to progress, or a great starting character for a new beginner characters, beginner players. Next, we're going to talk about the Godfist Master, the newly risen top tier, so to speak. Although I always thought he was really good. That boy Feng Wei. Okay, so the reason I say Feng Wei, I think Feng Wei is a pretty simple character. He's pretty easy. He has long range pokes, right? So he can play from way back here. He can play way up here. He can mix you with 10-hit combo. He's probably the only character in the game with a viable 10-hit combo because it's from his jab stream. And it can be like delayed, get guaranteed hits every now and then. He's a pretty long range 2 jab also, as you can see how far it's hitting from. He has great options overall. Like, he has a lot of good pressure tools. He has good combos and like wall carry now because of his newly buffed moves and newly added moves. He has great whiff punishment. Well, that was terrible. But yeah, he has great whiff punishment, great movement in general, very evasive. I'd say he's the most fundamental evasion character you can play, as opposed to like playing like Xiao Yu or Lei or who else? Eddie. Those characters are more unorthodox, but I'd say Fang has a great balance of being able to play you in straight up Tekken with great moves, a solid set of Sabaki options with his stances, and this move right here that parries punches, having great options to stop people from going to his weak side. He has great range again, great pokes, like I said. He also has a use of the dash. He has a dash that will also teach you doing some special things like canceling or your crouch dash, so that you can get stuff like while standing 1, which Kazuya is all for the same reason I put Kazuya. He would have more of an influence to solve that, since Kazuya doesn't really have a whole lot of good mid pokes that he can't use, that he can use while standing, right? Just like as he's standing. So you have to master while standing with him as well. But Fang doesn't necessarily require it. It just helps his game because he has a lot of burst range, right? Teaching you how to just get in there and mix somebody, right, with the stance. Make threatening stuff like the back Kempo to punish whiffs more easily, or even just get a mix going with any of his stances. Being able to learn how to use your back turn stances as pressure. Being able to mix people with side steps and get combos like so. Well, that was a simple combo, but you get the picture, right? He still has big damage too in certain situations, and he has a pretty fast throw, right? This throw is really quick, so it can catch you off guard sometimes, and you have to be really careful against this character if you're the one facing him, because he can just get away with a lot of things, like this move right here, this keeping him low. He has moves like this that allow him to crush things. He has moves like this that allow him to do some things. Mixed just out of this one move, like 3 ways to Sunday. Even if you get hit by something like this, you have to be aware of the stance check. So he's a great introduction to learning how to use your stances correctly, and simultaneously teaching you not to rely on them, because his stances, while are good, do leave you some openings, leave holes in your game plan if you get too antsy, as you see him being minus 16 on one of the moves that he used to use quite a bit to punish people, and as well as losing access to the shoulder here. So there's a lot of stuff that you do still have to be careful of, because he can be stepped, but he teaches you how to compact a lot of big moves, right? He has a lot of moves and generally has a tool for everything. So he's going to teach you how to use those tools, or teach you to recognize when you should be using what tool. So, and he's top tier, so he's not a bad pickup. All right, and we have our final guy, that boy Big Greasy, as my homeboy will call him, otherwise known as Geese Howard. So, as opposed to the other 4 characters, if you look at the other 4 characters, you've pretty much got everything else covered, right? Kazumi teaching you a great balance of neutral as well as poking and offense. Kazuya teaching you how to just properly utilize the tech in the game, like stuff like wall runnings or wall standings and all that good stuff. Paul teaching you defense and keep out. Fang teaching you aggression and stances while maintaining the ability to use your basics. So between those 4 characters, you have almost everything you need covered. The only thing you don't have covered is learning and understanding how to deal with 2D characters. And I believe you can get that if you get some experience on Geese, right? And you also get some experience on using meter on Geese and understanding the situations in which you can use it, understanding things like Tiger Knee, being able to do like Tiger Knee, Shippukens to get rid of your meter quicker so you can start building it again. Ooh, excuse me. Overall, just learning how to maximize damage, because here's the thing. Meter characters overall aren't really that strong. I know that's controversial to hear, but these guys, realistically, they're not that strong, without the meter at least, right? Right, now I can do a little bit more damage, but ultimately, this character's not really doing any significant damage to you without a wall, right? And at the same time, even if I get like a hit right here, that's my best launcher arguably for launch punishes, right? So to get the real damage, I can't do much without meter, right? I would have to spend something, right? So that's when I start getting the big damage, is when he gets up to 76 damage, because I spent a singular bar, right? So this character can be very damaging if you learn how to use your meter properly, if you take advantage of being able to let stuff like this rip so you can use your meter and get damage. You can use stuff like this to get in also, right? Your opponent's too far away, you don't really want to go for a combo, but it's game time and you need to get in. You spend that bar, you get in for a mix for free, right? Being able to put together very specific sequences in order to do things, being able to zone with a fireball is really good to make your opponent respond, right? You notice their habits, you get in close, maybe make them bait something, start checking movement. Great tracking tools here, some nerfed, but he still has great tracking tools. He still has good tools to crush things as well. He has a bit more of a learning curve, because if you're not used to meter characters in other games already, he is going to be a bit difficult. but he's the easiest of the meter characters to just kind of get into because he does have good generics, right? Having basically a flash punch combo doesn't knock down, but it does leave you plus, so you are close enough to like enforce some type of mix up. He has good solid pokes, something that was really good about him already. Great sidestep low, far-reaching unseeable low here that counter hits for a combo. Moon Slicer is dumb. He shouldn't have got it. Made him really, really strong. But we can talk about that. Great wall damage. Again, the meter. He has challenging execution. Being able to use certain things, certain setups. The pretzel motion, if I can do it correctly here. There we go. Raging Storm is actually a pretty important move if you're trying to like maximize damage and just kill somebody, right? So that's what he's going to teach you mostly, is understanding meter, understanding the jumping aspect, because if you really think about it, jumping's no more than a stance, right? And it's just something you have to watch for. It's a really powerful stance, but it can definitely be dealt with, right? It's definitely something that can be dealt with. If you don't land these jumps low enough, you don't get the frame advantage that you might hope for, right? Up here it's like -10, -12, but if you land low enough, you can get full combo, stuff like that. So he's really going to teach you how to maximize your damage. He's still going to teach you fundamentals because it's going to make you work with him before you get the reward, right? So I believe this is a character that most, if not everybody, should look into just to get their feet wet in the meter world so that you can truly understand how these guys work and actually get your counterplay gameplay together. I still think Geese is arguably the hardest to fight because he can actually play Tekken with you, right? And still have his meter BS. The other two characters can't really play Tekken with you, right? You're expecting the meter BS, but this character can actually freely mix you up between, oh, I'm playing Tekken. Oh, I'm playing Tekken. Oh, I have this counter hit. Oh, I'm playing Tekken, right? And then all of a sudden, you get sidestep, right? So, alright guys, that's gonna be my 5 characters to help beginners get started and actually learn about the game, right? So this covers the what character should I learn in Tekken, so to speak, right? Obviously you should play the character you want to play, so that will keep you interested in the game. But if you're looking to learn specific aspects of the game, I believe all 5 of these characters can teach you pretty much most, if not all, the things that you need or want to learn about the game, because they all require every single strat that you would have to know in order to play the game, right? Like cover stances and the meter and the fundamentals and the tag crouch canceling and stuff like that, right? So those are the characters that I have for you. If you agree with my characters, let me know down in the comments. If you try out one of these characters, also let me know in the comments and see how it works for you, see if you're starting to learn some stuff and get some stuff down. But again, like, comment, subscribe, turn the post notifications on. I'll be back with some more content for you guys. All right, peace.